All right, we got another episode of No Pump Fakes. For those of y'all watching on YouTube, I have a new mic. You feel me? We move. Quick little upgrade, feel me? New mic, new takes. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we have to get the party started by talking about the lovely Los Angeles Lakers in the most recent trade in the NBA. The Lakers have added Patrick Beverley to the roster. First thing first, I want to congratulate Patrick Beverley for eventually becoming, a 2023 NBA champion. You know, it's going to be very interesting, though, I will say, of course, to see him and Russ, play together on the same team. But I think this is a good thing for the Lakers. Obviously, I think a lot of people are saying that, they could use some youth. You know what I'm saying? But anytime you add a dog like Pat Bev, I think, you know what I'm saying? I think it can help. Dog, you feel me?
Best attribute. Best attribute is a dog. Like,
I'm just saying.
A dog. Not even
a
defender. You said a dog.
Hey, I tell you what, though.
Which is true.
The Lakers could. I'm glad we didn't add a diva to the team. I tell you that. Okay. I'm glad we added somebody that don't mind to, dive on the floor for loose balls. We got enough superstars. So it don't bother me to know that we got a guy that's like, all right, he's not afraid to battle when it matters the most. You know what I'm saying? Now, obviously, Pat Bev on the previous team he was on with the Timberwolves is a lot different than the Lakers. That a young roster in the Timberwolves versus the team he's on now, they have a little bit more experience. But still, I don't think it hurts to have a guy that's going to push certain players to the limits. Now, again, I'm not saying Pat Bev is an end-all, be-all. Us adding Patrick Beverley means like, all right.
Sure sounds like it.
Yeah,
you started a podcast on saying 2023 NBA champion. Sure sounds like it.
First of all, to be very clear, I would have said this with or without that damn trade.
I know.
I would have said that regardless. We move. But, it's August. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, other breaking news is Chet, unfortunate injury. But I don't want to start the show talking about.
We talk about that's. So you're a fan of you're a fan of the trade. Yeah. This you're definitely a fan of it. You gave up your best young talent for Patrick Beverley.
I'm trying to look at what I'm trying to look at what we received as opposed to what we gave up. But what are your thoughts? I'll answer that after. What are your thoughts on the trade?
What does Patrick Beverley do for the Los Angeles Lakers? You said be a dog. I mean, yeah, that's his best attribute, being a dog. But it's just kind of like, what does he do? Especially you talk about, like, is he going to start? Is he going to come off the bench? Like, what? They have Kendrick Nunn. And my thing about it is you trade THT. And my thing about it, he has what is he, like 22 years old, 21, 22 years old?
Young,
he has a lot of potential and upside. You trade him for Patrick Beverley, who's another, he's a role player who's also had a lot of injury history. Pat hasn't, like, stayed on the floor for 82 games in a season for a long, long time. So it's just kind of like, that's what you're receiving. And then, like, you already talked about, like, the Russell Westbrook and, like, the Patrick Beverley dynamic. I really don't care about that. I think, like, once you're on the same team, it's just kind of like, you ain't got to be buddy or friends with guys. You could just, like, go out and try to win and compete a championship. I'm not really worried about that. Like you said, you mentioned about, like, the old have another guy that's not a diva, like he's going to bring some toughness to the Los Angeles Lakers. I definitely agree with that. But my take on that is just like, okay, what does that do for the Los Angeles? Did they get better? Yes, but it's just like THD has a lot of, like, upside and potential. Just to give him away for Patrick Beverley, especially when you could have just, like, signed Dennis Schroeder off the street, who is younger, who is just as good of a perimeter defender, who is probably a better overall offensive player, and you could have got him for free and then probably kept THT, then do THT in a trade package eventually, if that's what you wanted to do. I'm like, I don't know, Thiz. It's like, it's looking a little dicey. I really don't know, man.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's what it comes down to for me. I don't really know. Like, this trade doesn't move me one way or the other. I don't love it and I don't hate it. At the end of the day, like I've been saying this entire time, as long as LeBron James and Anthony Davis are on this roster, all these other moves to me are minor. Like, I get it. Maybe you want to say, like, the fit. I do agree that them, giving up one of their younger players definitely kind of hurts. But anytime you have LeBron James, you're obviously in a win now mode. And if you think THT is a better fit for this team, I don't think personally that there's that much of a large gap between the fit between him with the Lakers and Pat Bev with the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? Like,
weren't you the one always talking about, forget about the fit? Like, you talking about, like, we were just talking about this conversation about the fit of, like, Russell Westbrook. I was saying, like, Russell Westbrook may need to leave because of the fit, but you're like, now you're talking about the fit with THT and Patrick.
Well, there's a difference. There's a huge
Okay.
difference. One of those guys is a Hall of Famer. One of those guys has showed up in the NBA Finals. Those other two
True.
guys, no shade to them, but they're just not Russell Westbrook. So I think fit really, really does matter when you're a superstar. But when we talking about guys that may not have as large of a role in being that big three, it's not something that really moves me. Like if we look at this trade months from now, I don't want to hear anyone say like, "Oh, damn, we should have kept THT. He's the reason why we lost in the first round." But at the same time, I don't think there should be people saying like, "Oh yeah, we made it to the NBA Finals because of Pat Bev." Right? Like there's certain levels. So when I hear Russ's name, you know what I'm saying, I think he's going to be a key. I mean, obviously we mentioned Anthony Davis. I think he's going to be.
Is he going to be there?
I
don't know if Russell Westbrook's going to be
Russ?
there. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be there. I really don't know. I really don't know. Like, I just don't know. I really don't know if he's going to be there. So it's very interesting. Like you said, maybe I don't know what Pat Beverly's coming over to do. Is he going to be a starter? Is he going to be a role player? Is he going to average like 20 to 25 minutes? I don't know. So that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like a big like cloud with the Los Angeles Lakers. Like we're kind of like assuming that like Russ is going to be there with Pat, but nobody necessarily knows, especially when you talk about like there's other like talks and rumors about like Russell Westbrook potentially going to Indiana Pacers and stuff like that. And I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen with that situation. So we really don't know. But like just to say Patrick Beverley, he's a dog and stuff like that. But like I said, if I can point to a guy that's a free agent right now, and I feel like, he's a better basketball player than you, I don't think this really does much. And then for people, some crazy ass Los Angeles Lakers fans who just hate Russell Westbrook is going around saying that Patrick Beverley's a better basketball player than Russell Westbrook. If the Los Angeles Lakers had Patrick Beverley, they would have been in the playoffs. I'm just like, you're telling on yourself. And even some of these people are saying like, well, Patrick Beverley is he's a 3-point shooter. He's averaged 38% for his career of shooting at the three ball. Well, I mean, when 2/3 of all your shots are threes, what does that tell you? That tells me that like you're open for a reason. That tells me that you're not taking a lot of shots. That tells me that like your role on the offensive unit is like always been the 8th, 9th, or 10th man. When you only average like 5 shots per game, you know what I'm saying? And and most of those shots are threes. You're making 1 out of 4. So it's just kind of like, that doesn't move me. I'm not going to sit up and say that he's a good 3-point shooter. He's a great 3-point shooter because of his percentage. That's why we always talk about like percentage and numbers and stats. Don't always tell the full stories. But I don't know. It's interesting. Like you said, he's a dog. That's what I agree with. Like, he played defense, defend. But like, does this move me? Should they probably have traded THD? Would I trade THD for Patrick Beverley? Probably not. But only time will tell.
Yeah, and I mean, to me, like going off that, like the hate for Russell Westbrook has to stop. Like when we think about, there are 30 NBA point guards, and I guarantee you cannot find 30 point guards that are better than Russ. Now, the real question to me is, do you think the Lakers, right, can return to the chip and win the whole thing if Russ does not, let's say, quote unquote, return to all-star form? Do you think that a tandem of LeBron and AD can get it done, or is Russ really the X factor?
But that's my.
Do you think that in order for them to win it, that he has to be that guy?
That's my thing. Russell Westbrook averaged 18, 7, and 7 last year. It's not too many guys that's averaging that. So my question is like, it's not more so like Russell Westbrook. It's Anthony Davis and LeBron James, what we talk about all the time. Everybody keeps talking about 2020. That was the last time Anthony Davis and LeBron James played a full healthy season. And maybe part of that was because of the bubble, where they had a long time off during COVID and all that stuff that happened. So I haven't seen like LeBron and Anthony Davis really be on the same court and play a long period of time, a regular season and the playoffs together. So to sit up and say like Russell Westbrook got to be the X factor, it's like, well, for a durability standpoint, you may want to keep Russ because he's going to actually probably play. So that's what concerns me with the potential, like, oh, we're going to trade like Russell Westbrook to the Indiana Pacers. We're going to try to get Miles Turner and Buddy Hield. It's like, okay, but what happens if your 2 best players are only probably, knock on wood, hopefully it's more, but probably going to play around 60 to 65 games a year. And 65 is being kind of high for LeBron and Anthony Davis, truthfully. Now, I hope I'm wrong, of course, but like, what's going to happen with the rest of those like 15 to 20 games, especially when you always say, like, if these guys aren't like young, if you don't have any like young guys to throw out there, like Buddy Hield and Miles Turner will help, of course, with that because they're kind of still in their 20s, late 20s and things like that. But like, I don't know, so it's a challenging situation.
Yeah, so my thing is the biggest difference between that team when they won it in the bubble versus the team they have now is that team outside of LeBron is AD was literally built off chemistry and teamwork and all that. But now I think outside of LeBron and AD, you look at Russ and then you look at everyone else, it's like, okay, Russ is clearly the third best player, and they're going to need him more so as an individual as opposed to relying on their fourth, fifth, and sixth option. So to me, it's like whether you want to trade Russ or keep him, but just understand like, yo, I don't think that you're going to receive the same type of production from LeBron and AD the same way that we saw it in the bubble. Not saying that they can't do it, but like it's tough to go from not even making the play-in to automatically just going and winning the chip with the same exact roster. You know what I'm saying? So I think ultimately, I don't think Russ has to go back to, being the triple-double king, but I do think that he's going to have to drop. And they all do, right? Like again, like you and I both know he is not the blame. He is not the culprit the way everyone has made it out to be. But him as well as the rest of the other guys on the roster as a whole are, it can't be what happened last year.
That's true, but I also would say that the Lakers role players that they had in 2020 compared to now are way better. Like people talked about KCP, but he was a marksman, like Alex Caruso. And that's my thing about this situation when you look at it. You gave THT a contract over Alex Caruso, and you probably should have gave Alex Caruso that contract. Then you just trade THT for Pat Beverley, who's essentially like an older version of Alex Caruso, if you really think about it. Like, because that's kind of like what Alex Caruso's career is going to be. A solid role player that can sometimes be a starter, that can get you anywhere between 10 points. But like you look at the two, like you could have just kept Alex Caruso because at this point in their careers, who would you really rather have? Alex Caruso or Pat Beverley? I'd probably rather have Alex Caruso. More athletic, can defend at a high level, and shoot threes. So now you lost THT, and now you lost Alex Caruso, and now you got Patrick Beverley, who is 34 years old? And then you got a situation with Russell Westbrook where he's, if he's in or he's out. You know what the Lakers are going to do with that situation. So, and then you got an aging, I'm not going to say aging because LeBron is still showed it like, yo.
I know what you mean, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like, he's still like 30, he's going to be 37 years old this year. So, 38 years old this year. And you got Anthony Davis, who's always like a toss-up, like for his health-wise. So, that's what I'm saying. It's like, what are we really doing here? But it's going to be interesting.
Side note, all right, that is crazy. LeBron James is pushing 40 years old.
Yeah.
Guys, this is basketball, right? This isn't football where, shout out to Tom Brady. Feel me? Ultimate GOAT.
Well, the quarterback position is a little different.
Right, but that's what I was getting ready to say. This ain't football where it's like, okay, you Tom Brady can relax in the pocket. LeBron James is guarding 21, 22-year-olds. LeBron James is guarding dudes that's ultimately half his damn age, guarding them. Like, so when you think about the fact that he's about to be pushing 2 decades and is still one of the top players in the league, please, Lakers, please, guys, help him out. Brown would never come out and say, I need help. Not this big age.
They got Pat Beverley.
All right.
That's the biggest move they made this offseason. It's Pat Beverley. It's the biggest move they made.
But also, too, it's like, it's not too many moves I feel like you can make. You know what I'm saying? I know, like, the obvious one that everyone wants is trading for Russ.
But that was a move for THT. That wasn't to give him over Pat Beverley wasn't a move for that.
Realistically, what trade involving Pat Beverley would have made you be like, oh shit, they moving?
They didn't need, but that's what I said. They didn't even need to trade for him. Dennis Schroeder is a better player right now than Pat Beverley. I don't care what anybody says. He is a better basketball player right now than Patrick Beverley, and he's available as a free agent right now. So that's what I'm saying. They didn't need Pat Beverley, so they could have kept THT and literally signed Dennis Schroeder. He could have gone back to playing his 6-man role and even sometimes closing out games, because that's all Patrick Beverly gonna do. And I don't even know Patrick Beverly. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if he's gonna close out games. But who knows? And
carefully, my brother.
I don't know if he'll close out games, but who knows? But even this, like, people talk about, even if they trade Russell Westbrook and you get Buddy Hield, you get Miles Turner, of course, it's just like, all right, I know LeBron James is naturally a ball-dominant player, but it's just like, Patrick Beverley don't even play to the point guard position. They had him playing off ball in Minnesota. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's just like, at times you're gonna need an actual guard to like kind of like facilitate when LeBron James get tired. He's about to be 38. Like he's gonna need a breather. Like it's not like he's gonna be playing 40 minutes, but that's not the the formula you want. At least playing high minutes, during the regular season. That's what he kind of did with the Los Angeles Lakers when he was on the court. So it's just like it's dicey in LA. I don't know. I just gotta wait to see how everything unfolds. But it's you screaming championships. You may want to be screaming play-in. Hopefully.
Hey, we just trying to get there, man. We just trying to get the plan. We just trying to get an invite.
Yeah.
We just trying to get a damn invite. But yeah, so I just want to say shout out to Rondo shout out to Rondo as well. Because you mentioned the idea of having a point guard, even with LeBron. Because usually, like earlier in his career, LeBron didn't really need a point guard. It would have been nice if he had one, but like realistically, LeBron didn't really need someone to put him in the right position. He'll be all right. But now I feel like it would have been convenient, right, to have someone say, "Hey, LeBron, relax. I'm going to give you the ball in the low block. You don't have to set yourself up every damn time." So, but I get it though. It would have been nice, but hey,
I like. They also a lot of people. I don't know if he's cleared yet, but like Kendrick Nunn is pretty talented as well. Like he's a 6'3" lefty that can shoot the ball really well and can get to the paint, and he has a floater as well. Like if he's healthy, when I saw him with Miami Heat, he was looking like, all right, like this guy could be a starter in the NBA. But of course, things didn't work out. But we'll see. But he could be a real X factor that a lot of people that aren't talking about, and maybe Los Angeles Lakers are kind of like counting on for this upcoming season, if they possibly say ship Russ out and say like, all right, we're gonna get whatever package they get for Russell Westbrook. And if I would rather, to be honest, if they did ship Russell Westbrook, I would rather Kendrick Nunn start over Patrick Beverley.
Two Chicago guys, shout out. But I will say though, I would like the Buddy Hield and Miles Turner additions to the Lakers. That doesn't mean I want them to get rid of Russ, but I would like that. I mean, you add a sharpshooter in Buddy Hield. Anytime, we know what happens when you add a sharpshooter, with LeBron. And then you add another guy that can stretch the floor with Miles Turner, but who can also protect the rim, right? Mm-hmm. So, and then we know, Anthony Davis probably preferring to play that 4 position as opposed to the 5. So I do, for real, I mean.
Yeah, ain't no problem.
That ain't that. Well, I was about to say, that ain't no secret. I ain't breaking no news. Yeah. I am not breaking no news on that. That ain't no deep analysis. That's just watch the damn game and But yeah, I mean, I think too, when you add those pieces to the Lakers, Buddy Hield, would definitely be a huge benefit to LeBron, and Miles Turner would actually be a huge benefit to Anthony Davis. So it definitely works out. But at the same time, I just don't want them to get rid of Russ for personal reasons. Want him to hopefully get a chip in LA. But it's all a business at the end of the day.
I don't know, man. Kiss of death. LeBron tweeted like, can't wait for the the return of Russ or something. Didn't mention the team name, so that's every time that happens.
Oh, don't do that! Don't do that! Don't dive! Don't dive! Don't dive! Don't scary.
I hope
don't
not.
dive! Don't dive! Don't dive! Don't dive deep into the. LeBron didn't use a comma today. Don't dive.
I'm not. I mean, it was at Summer League sitting across. We don't get big on that type of stuff, but they weren't.
Yeah,
they weren't like interacting or talking or anything like that. So it's just like, who knows?
Okay, well, to switch gears. Do you want to go the chat route or the Kevin Durant route? Because it's been a minute since we've been able to talk to our lovely audience. Which one? I'll let you decide which one first. Kevin Durant or Chet. We got to talk about both, but the order is up to you. But
we get it out the way because this is gonna be a short list. Prayers up to Chet. It's unfortunate what happened to him. Another top overall pick that's probably he's gonna be out for the rest of the season. I mean, similar to like Ben Simmons and Julius Randle and stuff like that. Joe Embiid. I'm not really too like worried about it. For as like, like people talking about like NBA players not playing in pro games and stuff like that. These guys, you could get hurt walking on the street. You know what I'm saying? So like, but prayers up to Chet. I think it's gonna help him actually. Like he'll get to develop more. Put some more muscle mass on and things like that. He's a project to me. He's a guy that clearly, like I was telling people. We saw in the pro-am. He don't need to have his ass down playing in the damn paint. This is the NBA. This is a grown man league. Like he needs to develop. He needs to sharpen his tool and get his ass on that wing because it's food in the post for that young man. So,
all right. So I'm gonna address that in a minute. But after after Chet's most recent injury, do you think that NBA players should consider sitting out during these summer games? Do you think it's too much of a risk? You think
Nah,
they should
because
still
they're
hoop?
playing. Yeah, of course you want to still hoop because you want to hoop and you want to hoop with players that can, guys that they're not playing with your average, Condra probably believes, like we talk about these pro-am games, like these guys aren't 9 to 5 guys working at Best Buy. These guys are like, most of these guys are like overseas and players and stuff like that. And even NBA players, which that pro-am was like a lot of NBA players. So no, I don't think they should sit out because like they're still got to work out. They're still going to go into open gym runs with other NBA players and stuff like that. So no, I don't. Still going to train. You can get hurt training. Remember,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
or a crazy accident. John Wall was out 2 years because like what did he do? He slipped and fell or something in the house. Something crazy. Something he said.
And his house is kind of crazy. But I mean, you're either way. You're right. It happens.
Yeah.
Like you can, like you said, you can get injured walking, right? Like you really don't know, and you shouldn't let that kind of stop you from playing. But it sucks because whether guys want to say it out loud or not, this is going to affect whether or not some players decide to play in the summer league, or
Yeah.
not summer league, but just in general. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, you think about a lot of guys that have gotten injured early on in their career. Obviously, Philly guys, Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and look how their careers have turned out.
Yeah.
Right. So at the end of the day, Chet is still a teenager. So I mean, like it's, I won't say it's okay, but it's not the end of the world. Obviously, as you mentioned, two prayers up to him. I hope he gets better, and I hope he gets a speedy recovery and everything like that. But it's unfortunate, but the game is a game. You can get injured doing pretty much anything. But I will say, fortunately for him and the whole entire Thunder staff, on the positive side, get the tank machines popping. Load up.
Yeah.
Load up. Hey, listen. I know OKC fans, you had high hopes, and that's all right. Not mad at all.
What was high hopes? Just
Whoa. Listen, I didn't say high hopes of winning now. I didn't say high hopes of winning.
That's the only
I didn't say high hopes
excitement.
of winning. I said high hopes. I know you
Excitement,
had
yes.
high hopes. You know what I'm saying? Check, number 2 pick.
Yeah.
Number 2 pick, you got, Shea come back, all that.
Josh
now with
Giddey.
him being out, Josh Giddey, future looking bright, all that whole narrative. But now that Chad is out, regroup, get back to the drawing board,
How does SGA
accept
feel?
what this season might look like. What do you mean?
How does SGA feel? Like because I always talk about this, and it's just kind of like some people feel like that he's a franchise player, some people don't feel like he's a franchise player. But like I think it was clearly like we kind of saw with like Devin Booker and like Trae Young, like, no, these guys are like potentially superstars before they kind of went out and like proved like they got a good team around. Like, oh no, these guys should be at the All-Star game for the next 10 years. You know what I'm saying? SGA is in that weird like bubble to me because I know he's great. I know he's talented. But my thing about it is just like, well, I know you're in OKC, but it's just like, when is enough? Why are we wasting this star players like, years of just keep tanking? Like, when are we going to actually like build? I guess you're trying to build through the draft, but when are we going to actually like try to make some moves for SGA if he's our guy? Or do you not believe he's your guy?
No, I mean, I do think that they have the pieces. Well, I mean, you got SGA, you got Chet, you got Josh. My thing is, it's just not their time yet, right? And that happens. I think there's a difference between being a true, like you mentioned all the time, poverty franchise versus it's just not your time yet, right? Like, at the end of the day, Giannis is still in the league. Stephen Curry still exists. Kevin Durant is still up there in Brooklyn. So as much as we want to sit there and say, when's the time? I mean, look at the rest of the league. The rest of the league ain't, flooded with bums. It's just not their time yet. Now, there are some franchises, there are some players who should be looking like, hey, what are we doing? I've been here. But, I mean, y'all have the pieces. You just got to wait.
That's true. You had the pieces, but you're a player, though. Like, SGA is 24. And it's not like, he's only going to get older. So it's like, when is it going to be their time? 2 years, 26, when he's about to be an unrestricted free agent? And it's just like, when do you want to start playing, like, real great basketball, start getting the playoff basketball and, even regular season, important regular season games where you're actually like trying to win and get into playoffs? Because like at some point, it's just like, it ain't like my boy SGA getting like the recognition. Like people recognize him as a top 30 player in the NBA and stuff like that. He gets that type of recognition. But like for like all-star games and like endorsement deals and just like recognition amongst your peers and like all that good stuff. When is enough? When do you feel like, yo, like, all right, damn, like I'm the best player on the team. I get it. We trying to keep getting draft picks, but at some point you looking around, it's like, well, it's either you believe in me or you don't. Like we saw with Dame. The Portland Trailblazers, they ain't got no sexy market, but they believe in Dame. Of course, they got CJ McCollum. But I'm saying it's guys on the OKC roster that I feel like, yo, can actually hoop. And let's start trying to like actually kind of go out and compete and win some games. It's not like you ain't got SGA. You have SGA, who's a star, whatever you want. I don't know how you want to, I know you like the tiers and stuff like that, but he's a star level player. I don't know if he's a superstar, but he's a star level player, star level talent in this league. So it's just like, what are we really doing here?
My thing is, if you are SGA, what realistically would you ask from the Thunder organization? Like what else do you feel like they could do to put you in a better situation or make you feel comfortable?
Sam Presti is your GM, and he's gone out and he's made moves, plenty of moves before. He got Paul George with Russell Westbrook. He got Victor Oladipo. He's made moves. He's capable of making moves against players too. OKC, we've seen that historically throughout his career. So that's all I'm saying. Like, he can make some moves. He got a lot of draft picks. And he's about to get another great draft pick this upcoming year. So it's just like I'm saying, like, when is enough?
We don't know that yet.
when is enough?
We don't know that yet.
Tank to Victor. Tank for Victor.
Hey, I tell you what though, those two players, him and Chet, hey man.
Yeah, it's I don't know about all that.
What you mean you know about that?
I don't know if I like that as much as people. I know it looks phenomenal, but like
I tell you what though, players like Zion are about to dominate the low block. I pay that much.
Yeah.
What other bigs that dominate? Damn it, you can't even think of any.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like a lot of Kevin Durant disciples. It's kind of weird. Like all these like players that look like Giannis and Kevin Durant. It's like used to be a time that we used to see this shit once every generation. Now you look at you. I'm looking at this draft, and it ain't just Victor. It's another one. I forgot his name. It's another one
out there.
It's another one that's supposed to be in the same draft class. It looks crazy. Like 7'5".
That's great.
It looks 7'5". Do all this. I'm like, what?
We gotta get bros on a strict diet plan.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We gotta.
Yeah, DNA, they creating shit out there overseas.
But speaking of OKC, speaking of Kevin Durant, drum roll, Kevin Durant is staying in Brooklyn.
Try to do a drum roll, nobody hear you.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. Kevin Durant is staying with the Brooklyn Nets. It was obvious. I mean, I know we like to play the whole charades game and think, oh, where's Kevin Durant going? Well, he's staying. They're running back. This movie at all? Is this a shock? Are you surprised?
I'm running back, baby. I'm moved. You know where I live. Get to watch Kevin Durant again. Kyrie Irving, run it back. Man. I'm selfish.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
Run it back, but no, it's like I don't blame the Brooklyn Nets. They saw what the hell Rudy Gobert went for, and they was like, hell no. They looked at the market and they was like, what are we doing? He said, this ain't enough. Like, I get it. Like, Kevin Durant, he about to be 34, like this and that. All right, whatever. But like, you saw what Rudy Gobert went for. And this is like, come on. Like, this is Kevin Durant, arguably the best player in the world. Not the best. You don't think he's the best. He ain't lower than 3. So it's just like, damn, I get it if I'm the Brooklyn Nets. I get it. Now, Kevin Durant is just kind of like, well, damn, Kevin, you ain't really getting nothing. But like, at least you got a championship caliber team to go back to because you sure didn't get like Steve Nash fired. You ain't get like, whatever else you wanted, like trade, stuff like that. But sometimes it's just kind of like, things happen. It's like the Allen
we've
situation,
seen it
Kobe
before.
Bryant situation.
Yeah.
All right.
We've seen it before. Guys be a little salty during the off season, and then you realize, like, all right, well, that clock is ticking.
Yeah.
And so, I ain't 22. So let's play basketball. You
gotta do what you
gotta do. You in New York. You feel me? And you're not in a terrible situation.
No.
Right? I think if Kevin was like 27, maybe he may not have gone this route, but I do, respect the fact that he was vocal about his opinion and request to be traded or whatnot. Yeah. But I do think the fact that he realizes that his window isn't as large as it may have been early in his career. It's like, all right, hey, we need to get shit changed right now. But at the same time, you still got Kyrie, right? You still have pieces on your team that can produce at a high level. It could be worse.
Yeah.
It could be a lot worse.
Sometimes you got to just shake the table, like you said, Theas, to try to get everybody back on the same page. Like sometimes people go through like, everybody has an ego at times and, go through things. So it's just like sometimes all right, I'll shake the table a little bit, but like, all right, now let's get everybody back on the same page and let's talk and stuff like that. So,
but I'm gonna tell you what though, it wouldn't surprise me if Steve Nash. I don't give a damn how good Kevin Durant is. It wouldn't surprise me if Steve Nash at least felt some type of way about all this, because at the end of the day, you go from hearing that the best player on your team is requesting that you no longer be there.
It's pressure though.
Now having to coach him. Oh, of course, no doubt about it. Ain't no pressure on Kevin. Ain't no pressure at all on Kevin.
Them first 22 games, 20 to 25 games.
And even that. We done see coaches get the clip earlier than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pressure. Man, yeah, it's pressure on Nash.
Let Brooklyn start the season 2 and 3. Rumors will start off immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
So
don't be under 500 after 15 games.
Come on, man. They not trading Kevin. They not trading Kyrie. Steve, hey, appreciate you, player. But it's time. It's time. And also, too, this was an awakening experience for everybody, right? You know what I'm saying? I think it was an experience for, obviously, Steve Nash, but as well as Kevin Durant, too. Just the reality of like, hey, this is it. This is the team. This is what you're working with, player. This, you feel me? Now let's, you know what I'm saying, try and make next year a little bit different, but it ain't too many changes that's about to happen.
Might as well
run it back.
Run back. What, you got Ben Simmons, you got Kyrie Irving. Like, Kyrie want to be there. Like, Kyrie is from out here.
Why do I keep forgetting Ben Simmons? Why do I forget about Ben Simmons?
And he gonna remind people this year too as well. I think this is I think this is the year where Ben Simmons is gonna like lock in and really show that like, yo, people gonna be like, God, you know how people be feeling about Draymond Green and his role as like the 4 or 5 option? People gonna really be like, damn, Ben Simmons as a third option is kind of cold. Because there's no pressure, like you always say. Ain't nobody expect you to go out and get 20 to 25 points, 10 rebounds, double. Hey, you get 16 to 12, and you running fast break. You got 8 assists. You average a damn near triple double. He gonna be at the All-Star game. Like it's gonna be like, damn, like we forgot how good Ben Simmons is at the third option. Oh,
he might not want to be at this year's All-Star game.
Well, nobody want to be in.
Yeah, I should have said Utah.
Nobody want to be in there. That's probably the only reason why the Jazz trying to keep Donovan Mitchell on. All right, now we gonna try to keep you here one more year to the All-Star game. Then we gonna give you what you want.
Yeah. But speaking of Ben Simmons, that kind of leads me to a cap or no cap. Out of these two players, who are you expecting to have a stronger comeback season?
I don't think I'm the two players.
Ben Simmons or Zion Williamson? Let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation. Who do you think is going to have a stronger comeback season?
I thought you was going to say Russ, Ben Simmons and Russ, because like, Russ had,
but no, I don't.
He played though, but that's like,
exactly. Yeah.
All three, really. But
if you were to toss him in, by all means,
man.
No, actually, no. I mean, you could say Russ if you want, or put him in your question. I'm not going to do that to Russ. I don't want to put him with, the youngins like that. Feel me?
Believe it or not, I'm going to roll with Ben Simmons. And the reason why I'm going to roll with Ben Simmons is because I feel like he's in the perfect situation to maximize his strengths and to cover up his weaknesses. He ain't got to never shoot the ball ever if he don't want to. You got Joe Harris. You got Seth Curry. You got Kevin Durant. You got Kyrie Irving. These are probably 4 of the best 10 shooters in the damn NBA on the same team. When we talk about and Ben Simmons, his greatness at getting to the rim and attacking the basket at the first level, especially on the fast break transition, it can be nasty in Brooklyn. Like it's tough. And and also Zion Williamson, like I know what Zion is going to kind of do and stuff like that. So I'm not really like concerned. My thing is like health-wise with Zion. But like for like Ben Simmons, this is the first time in Ben Simmons' career I feel like he's in a perfect situation. Even though I would like to see a team built around him, you can make an argument this team is built around him because of all the spacing and all the shooting he's going to have. And it's crazy because you may want to start Ben Simmons at the center position and just go with 4 straight shooters.
I was just getting ready to ask you.
It gets spooky. Ben Simmons is coming. He's coming. He's coming this year. He's coming.
That lineup might get a little wacky.
Yeah, you got Ben, getting scary.
You got Kyrie, Kevin Durant, Seth, and Joe Harris.
Yeah.
Might get a little wacky. But the thing is, though, like, in transition with Ben Simmons with the ball with those 4 guys around him, it gets ugly. But like in a half-court setting, obviously, I feel like in a half-court setting, Ben needs the ball to be the most effective. But at the same time, when you got 2 isolation players in Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, is Ben is he as effective? Do you think that him being off the ball would still be?
I think it's going to be amazing, especially if he play in a center position, because a pick and roll with Kyrie Irving and Ben Simmons, a pick and roll with Kevin Durant and Ben Simmons, like Ben Simmons running to the block. It gets his athleticism. I think it's going to be fine. It ain't like he got guys that can't create off the dribble, can't pass on the ball when he needs to, get him to his spots in the pick and roll, stuff like that, and the lobs and stuff, especially when playing the center position. I think it's going to be fine. I think this is the best situation we've seen Ben Simmons in for his career. I think Ben Simmons is about to make some noise. All-star season coming up this year for Ben Simmons. They're going to have the Brooklyn Nets going to have 3 All-Stars.
Say that. And you know what, too? Now I'm thinking about it. There's going to be a lot of opportunities. So often, I think in Ben's career, he's had to be like the number 1 guy, or at least the guy that's primarily handling the basketball. But I tell you what, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for him to play that 4-on-3 role, right? Yeah. So if KD or Kai got the ball coming off a PNR and they ditch it off to Ben, similar to the way Steph gets double teamed off those and he ditches it off to Draymond, who's great at playing in that 4-on-3 role, Ben might do the same thing, right? And we know Ben's IQ is there. We know he's a great passer. So if we get Ben with the ball in a 4-on-3 situation, it might get spooky, especially if the 3 other guys are Seth, Joe, and either KD or Kyrie. It might get nasty. Quickly. But you know what though? Let me back up. Let me back the hell up.
I know it's August, so we're getting excited.
No, it's not just about being excited. Another person who needs to be addressed in this situation is Steve Nash. Please make this happen, Steve. Because this all sounds good. This all can be executed on 2K. But I need Coach Nash to do this.
That's how we saw Steve. That's how we saw Steve Nash. Kevin Durant was playing.
That's some bullshit. I don't need Kevin Durant. I don't need Kevin Durant calling plays. I don't need him being the one directing traffic. I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't. Shout out to Kevin. You know what I'm saying? He always gonna do what he got to do. You know what I'm saying? But damn it, no. I'm cool on that. Yeah. But my answer would be Zion Williamson. Now, Ben definitely has a lot more to prove. You know what I'm saying? Considering, his exit with Philly and stuff like that. I still personally think that Ben is a fantastic player. Still high-level defender, can be an all-star and all that. But it ain't a secret that anytime you exit the playoffs like that, people will have expectations, especially if you left a championship team and now you're going to be playing on a championship team. But again, fortunately for him, he has 2 players that are top 75, they're Hall of Famers, first ballot, and all that. So again, the pressure won't be the same. And in addition to that, they're champions. So they know what it's like to win. No one on Philly, to my knowledge, now that I'm thinking about it, really won anything. It's not like that in Brooklyn. And also, too, I'm saying Zion because similar to, I guess, Luka, that's kind of crazy, but similar to Luka, there were questions before this season, not necessarily to his talent, but like, can he get it done? Right? No one at this point should be questioning Zion's talent. But now it's like, okay, we know he can hoop. We've seen the flashes. We've seen you produce.
That's a good one.
But what are we doing here? Yeah. Are we winning or are we just giving people highlight reels to post on Instagram?
That's a good one.
And again, now good things. I think he can do it. This ain't I don't have the question. I just need to see it.
That's
you
real.
Feel me? Like, I just need to see it.
Because like we always talk about Trey, we always talk about Jason Tatum, we always talk about Luka Doncic, and you especially this. You've been on, especially Luka went to the Western Conference Finals, but you was in the offseason. You was like, yo, all right now, this happened with the top 25 and under. Like, what are you gonna do? Zion Williamson, number 1 overall pick, Jordan deal, like hair. Yeah. They was talking about hair to who. I'm not gonna say his name because I never thought that was even a thing. But still though, come on, like show us what you're about. Like you got a squad, you got another probably top 5, 25 and under player on the same roster as you. You got probably the most underrated 2-guard in the game, one of the most skilled basketball players in this world, in CJ McCollum. What are you going to do with the New Orleans Pelicans? You got guys that can defend as well. Jones, you got guys that can hit open shots. Graham, like Devontae Graham. Like, yo, you got a team. You got a team.
Yeah. That's the thing too. It's like you can make the case that on paper, talent-wise, they're better than some of the other teams. So I mean, and they just made the playoffs. So you added arguably their best player. So I mean,
I'm highly on New Orleans Post. I said this is top 5 this year. And they said no playing for me. That's how much I believe. But you still got to go out and do it.
Yeah, you add Zion to a roster that just made the playoffs. But now, like we said, you got to go out and do it. Because when we see those other guys that you often get compared to, they have. And you can make the case that roster on paper is probably better than Spiders when he spazzed.
Better than Trey.
Better than Trey's.
Better than Luka.
Yeah.
And, just
B.I. and CJ, come on now.
And overall talent-wise, maybe even better than Boston that just went to the finals. If you look at just trios, it gets
trio-wise, sure, but top to bottom, I can't give it to him.
Maybe not top to bottom.
I can't give it to him.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, but it's still like, hey.
No, I hear you. I hear you. B.I. is a stud, right? B.I., feel me? And we know what C.J. McCollum brings to the table. So you have the pieces. You really do. Now it's time to get active. It's that simple. But yeah, good cap, no cap. It was good to be back, y'all. All right. Like I said, new mic, new takes. We move on this side. But yeah, make sure y'all subscribe to No Pump Fakes. All right. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, as well as Spotify. I'm going to say that one more time. Subscribe to No Pump Fakes on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, as well as Spotify. And just like that, y'all, we gone. Peace. What's up, y'all? It's Theus McBee. Make sure you go follow No Pump Fakes on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen to your podcasts.